with you on SportsCenter with a developing story. Rumors swirling about Zion Williamson. Let me be more specific. Rumors that the NBA is on hold, waiting to see if the Pelicans star could be potentially traded. Our Brian Windhorst didn't explicitly say there's a plan to ship him out, rather that there are eyes watching for his potential availability on the trade block. Here's the thing, Zion's been one of the best when he plays, scoring nearly 3,000 points through his first 114 career games. That's the most by a player since Michael Jordan back in the 80s. Of course, the problem is he's missed 64% of the team's games since he was drafted #1 overall by the Pelicans back in 2019. All right, our NBA analyst, Perk, Kendrick Perkins, is back with us as promised. And I know, because I stalk you on all of our ESPN platforms, and I've heard you say that Zion is a generational talent that the Pelicans can't trust. So which team should be moving heaven, earth, and draft picks to acquire Zion?
Well, first, let me tell you how disappointed I am in the Pelicans and David Griffin for letting go of Teresa Weatherspoon. She did not deserve to lose her job. She done a hell of a job while she was there. They stopped her from having interviews, and I just wanted to get that out of the way because she could have been somewhere else by now because a lot of teams in the far as around the NBA wanted her. Now, when it comes down to Zion, listen, when he's available, we see the effect that he has on the basketball court. We see how dominant he is. When I look at the Pelicans right now with the young group that they have, Brandon Ingram, and the guys that they drafted, it's time to move on from him. And I think that with the #3 pick that Portland have, it's only right that Portland try to make a trade to get Zion over there with Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard has been on record this entire offseason saying how he's not willing to be in the rebuild stage, how he wants to stay in Portland, and how he wants to make sure the front office do their job and make sure they surround him with pieces to contend. If you move Zion to Portland, one, it's going to be a wake-up call because no player wants to get traded, and it's a sense of embarrassment. So maybe that will wake him up, but now all of a sudden you can show your superstar caliber player in Damian Lillard that they're trying to make moves and trying to please him so that he can contend as he get late into his career.
Yeah, you mentioned putting players around her. The Blazers have never had two 25-point-per-game scorers in the same season, and a duo of Dame and Zion certainly would mean something. But the title, as we saw, goes through the West. How the West is won is through Denver. So where would you rank Portland among playoff contenders then?
Well, you know what? Without Zion, they're going to be in the same position fighting for the lottery every single season. You add Zion to the mix, and he takes them to a title contender. He's that box office when available. And I could just imagine him and Damian Lillard on the floor together. They will be one of the best duos in the game. Under Chauncey Billups, a guy that played at a high level, a guy that won an NBA championship, a guy that actually played with great big men in Kevin Garnett, Rasheed Wallace, and Ben Wallace. So Zion has no choice but to listen, and I feel like he will. But I feel like it's time for the Pelicans to move on from Zion, and I feel like it's time for Zion to move on from the Pelicans.
We could be seeing the end of a very short, albeit interesting era then in New Orleans should he be moved on. Kendrick Perkins will allow you to move on here from SportsCenter. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
But we would never trade you.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.